Good afternoon.
Hello there.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Terry.
Hey.
Good to see you.
There we go.
Let's see.
Everyone enjoy last night?
Very much so.
I was worried some people would go, I don't know who Rod Serling is.
How could they not? I used to love that show. It was Friday nights.
Oh.
It was,
Right?
scary
Me too.
They
show.
were 20 maybe.
No. And then there was a show after that that was even scarier. Remember that there was the Twilight Zone, and then there was another one.
Correct. He went,
Yeah.
yes, they had him. It was always used to be Alfred Hitchcock and the Twilight Zone would play back to back late at night in reruns,
Yes.
right? They were like the pair, right?
That's
and then
right.
years later, Twilight Zone went to a special hour version once. If you remember that, right?
I think it was called
And
Way
then-
Out or something, or Out There or something. It was just really scary.
Yeah.
The outer
And
limits.
Is that what it was?
The outer limits.
That was the one that was
Excellent.
after the Twilight Zone. Ooh, it was weird. So
It's true.
the one that
No,
I always
but,
remember is the one on the airplane. Remember they were on the airplane on that one on the Twilight Zone.
William Shatner. That's it.
Yes.
Isn't
And the
that
kid
funny, right?
from-
How
And Opie when he was a kid.
that's right. Oh, well, he was in several. Right?
Yeah.
There were certain actors, Jack Klugman, right, Opie, right, that were in several episodes. It was so good, right? Well, I'm glad everyone enjoyed last night and it resonated, right? You go from Lucille Ball, Will Ferrell to Rod Serling. I think we're covering the spectrum, right, of expectations, right?
Yeah, who's gonna be next?
Yeah. So, do we have anyone on brand new, first time? Anyone that I could scare off or chase off, change their mind that this is a good idea today? Just let me know. There she is. Hey, Shoshana.
Hi, how are you?
Nice to meet you. Is this your first time?
Yes, I'm so intrigued. I can't wait to learn more.
Okay. Well, today is your day, just so you know. Okay.
I like that.
Happy to do that. And before I kind of start from the beginning for Shoshana, and also feel free to interrupt me, Shoshana, at any time, right? This isn't as much a presentation as it is a shared collaborative experience, in that point of view. And who invited you? Who's the person who invited you today?
Well, we've met before, and I already have the. I've been playing a little. I'm already in. I just want to learn more on how to use it and how I can get others to use it, because I want to show my digital media person, and Sishu originally invited me, and I don't know if you remember, I'm the makeup artist, and I know you from your old days.
Oh, yes. Exactly. Yeah. My IMBD days. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Hey, Eric. Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. All
Hi,
right.
Denise.
So before I start, just remember I'm going to mute everyone out just so we can get rid of the background noise. Except I can't get rid of my own. Apologize for that. And then, does anyone have any other particular thing as I'm going through the beginning of it that they want me to cover today, whether it be avatars, shared invite links, broadcasting social media, top 40 favorite radio shows, anything you want? Just feel free to throw it out and I'll cover it, in this presentation. Okay, so I'm going to mute you guys. And like I say, you have the ability to we're going to have a CRM training tomorrow. Special first training, a kind of a deep dive. So you're not going to want to miss it. You're going to want to invite people to that training tomorrow. Special guest for one of the developers of that program is going to be on to do a special training, and they'll also be promoting that through the academy today. Okay, so CRM, sign up for tomorrow for that one. Okay, all right. So let me get started for you. Okay, let me share my screen. Here we go. And so remember, as I point out, one of the best things about our product is that you can experience it 5 minutes after you sign up for it, right? And so if you've signed up for the very first time, haven't been to a training, haven't watched the tutorial, and going, what the heck is this thing, right? We hear it's for live webinars, text, emails, social media broadcasts. How do I just experience it at hello? When you log into the dashboard for the first time, front and center, right? A way to get started before you go through the elements of the dashboard, which I'll go through again later, is literally start a meeting. And right now we have two versions, the original version we started with and our newer version that has all the cool features. And so we're going to have relatively in a week or so, there'll only be one version to choose from. So you might as well start on the latest and current version. You want to make sure that your audio, cameras, videos are all hooked up. Otherwise, you're going to be one of those people who join the meeting and go, sorry, can't hear you. Platform doesn't work. Thank you very much. I'm going back to Zoom. Don't want you to be one of those people. You also don't have to join with the camera on. You just want to make sure that it's blue, and then you can shut the camera off and join. If you then want to put a background up afterwards. Okay? And then you're in the meeting. And so right now you don't know a thing, except you feel it looks like Zoom. Looks like Google Meets, right? So you probably feel better the second that you log in. And then get familiar with the buttons on the bottom, right? The mute button. You turn your camera off, which is probably a very important feature for most people, right? The record button, which if you don't see a record button on your side, it's because you're not the host. You can also set that up where every single meeting is in recording from your dashboard, or you can do that one at a time. I'm going to leave settings out for a second because there's a lot of features in settings. And so I just want to continue to go on. A lot of people I know are fascinated with real-time voice translations in 42 languages at the touch of a button. And you go, how do I make that happen? All you do is you click on speech, and you're going to have two options. One, for the people who are hearing challenged, you can just do live transcriptions. But if you want to do international voice translations, you click the button. And notice here, it's defaulted to English, right? Because that's most likely where you want to hear people in, regardless of what language you're speaking, but you can change that on the fly. So if you're like Lazaro from Mexico, you want to hear it in Spanish, he literally can just change that at the touch of a button. And you don't have to worry about what language that your guests are going to do it, because they're going to get the same drop-down menu and get to choose their own languages. So you literally can have 42 people in 42 countries listening to you in 42 different languages simultaneously while you're hearing them all in the language of your choice. How hard is it to turn on? That's how hard it is. You hit the start button, and they're going to hit the listen button, and you're good to go. And as I said, we have a small charge of about 5 cents a minute, whether it's one person or 500 people. So it's not cost prohibitive a way that you need to reserve it for special meetings. Anytime you want to stop it, you hit stop. So again, one of our most important features is incredibly simple to use. Now the next two buttons is kind of where the meat and potatoes are, what we like to say, right? Is when you've been used to Zoom and Google Meets, some third parties. So the most important thing you want to do is screen share, right? And so same thing here. You hit screen share, and then you either decide that you want to choose a tab to share, or do you want to choose the whole window? If you do choose the entire screen, then as soon as you do that, you're going to get a quick mirror effect, because with browsers, you can't really share the entire screen. You have to share a tab. So if you do that, you'll just quickly share a tab or window, it'll go away. But always try to do tab and window, and you'll have a perfect shared experience. And also make sure that your audio button is on if you want to play a video perspective. Okay, so really kind of simple on the share button. Similarly, go back to the name because, sorry, I just want to mute person out. He's kind of not aware. Okay. Also, Tommy, if you don't mind. Yeah, thank you, Tommy. Okay, appreciate that. All right. So at this point, these 4 buttons going across. So far, our first special button is our translation button. Next special button, which is really the foundation of why we're still not with Zoom, is the share website button. So when you click share website, if you've ever shared a website before, the good news is you never have to type it in again or cut and paste it. It's here. And literally with the touch of one button, you can pull those up and start sharing a website to make it interactive. Because this might be your first time, you literally have nothing to share, right? So you literally can type in any website in the world.
Can I interrupt real quick, Steve?
Sure, absolutely.
On what I'm looking at now, I don't have a share website button. Oh.
Because you're not the host.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you.
I like when you ask a good question and I have a good answer, just so you know.
I like it too.
Right? So yes, and also when I'm the host, if I wanted to make you a co-host, so you had that ability, you'll be able to do that as well. So which is important to know, especially sometimes you start a meeting, you're in bad Wi-Fi, right? And you go, oh my God, what am I going to do? I've got 30 people on, I'm in bad Wi-Fi. Well, you can make someone who has good Wi-Fi the co-host, and they'll have all the access to the controls that you have. So as I said before, right, if the first time you're here, you're going to click on a website, or remember, you can cut and paste it, right? And then before you share a website, you can decide to preview it, because so many people have really bad websites that you may want to look at it before you decide whether you want to show it or not, because you also have the ability to reduce the size. If you see right here, there's a zoom in and out button in that perspective, right? So here's my State Farm Insurance. And right now I'm saying I'm previewing it, but now I'm going to make it standard mode. Standard mode means standard. I'm in control. Standard Zoom, standard Google Meet, right? My guests have no idea that this site could be interactive at the touch of a button. And I don't want them to know that, because I don't want them to get ahead of me in the meeting. I don't want them multitasking on me, right? Because they're impatient, right? So at the right time, where let's just say, pretend for a second, I am the best State Farm Insurance salesman in the world. And my normal go-to end of any meeting is, let me send a text in the chat and then call you for the next 4 or 5 days. But instead, all I do is I make it interactive. And now each and every single person on a webinar, now remember, you're not in this webinar, I'm in another webinar showing you this so I could show you behind the scenes. So don't say to me, I can't touch the screen. You're right, you can't. But if we were live on our side, which I can do afterwards, every single person, up to 600 people, could literally type in their zip code in privacy and literally do that. This could be Shopify, Amazon, Amway, eBay, Medicare, any website in the world virtually becomes interactive. This is the flagship of our company right here. Any questions on that? Okay. So what I'm really trying to get across, right, is 2 most important features: international voice translations, share a website, and somebody could figure out how to do that in about 5 minutes after signing up in our program. The next important button, of course, is chat, which you expect. We have a good chat button in the sense that you can speak to people one-to-one or into a group. You can upload content in there. You can download content. You'll find that fairly functional. And then also our people section. Now, remember, I'm the only one in here right now because I'm in my own webinar. But if you were here, I would see all the people that are lined up in here. And each single person would have it be next to their name 3 dots. That allows me to individually mute an individual, block the individual, kick the individual out, make someone a co-host. All those options I have with each individual person, or I could do it universally. I could block everyone's mic so they can't come in. I could block their camera. So to me, in order to create a good, consistent meeting, good sound, good quality, good experiences, I'm saying always have the people section open. And just so you know, no one else can see it. Even though my screen got smaller, the screen that people are watching on stays the same no matter how many windows I have open. So I could have the people open, I could have the chat open, I could have this open, makes no difference. And all these buttons are also their own on and off button. See that, click that. Another way to do it is exit out here. So the navigation is normal, natural, and easy to do. Okay? Anybody have any questions on these functionalities? Okay.
I want to go back real quick to the share. If I have a guest on a standard meeting and I haven't made them a co-host, can they request to share?
Every single person will have the normal screen share button. So you don't have to do that. You can prevent them from screen sharing. I'm going to do that in settings in a second to show you how to do that. But otherwise, the share a website to make it interactive is they don't have, but you can make them a co-host by doing that.
I did have a situation where I had a guy that was going to share his screen, and he said, "It says I need to request permission." I said, "Well, go ahead," and it never came up with anything. And he did not have a button that said share. He had the button that said show a YouTube or so. There was 2 other options, but it wasn't.
Yeah, well, remember, he won't have the share button, right? Because he's a guest. So he would only have this button, and every single person has this. That's not, I don't know why he couldn't have seen it that way, right? But I'm saying that is just kind of built into the platform. in that sense. Now, maybe in settings, which is where I'm going to go, which that other button the last button I was going for. Notice here in room settings, there's permissions. So you may want to check the permissions that you had, because you can say where everyone in the room can share, right? Where it's defaulted to me.
That's probably
Here's
what happened.
hosts and speakers. So that's most likely in that perspective. So that's your room configuration. The other thing you can do in the room configuration is if you want someone when they join the meeting, their microphone automatically to be on mute, you could do that right here. See, mic off. Now, again, they have the ability to unmute themselves, but a lot of times people come in and they don't realize that there's a baby screaming in the background, right? So you may want to do that. The other thing is you may not want to show all your participants when they come in. So you can click hidden right here. And all of these can be changed in real time on the fly. The other thing is we also have the ability to raise hand and ask questions, but maybe you don't want them to. Maybe you don't want them to interrupt your flow. So you can lock them out of doing that as well. So kind of very nice, you're in control in that second.
Yeah.
A lot of times people will come on and they'll go, oh, my camera doesn't work. And sometimes it's external, not to us, but sometimes it's just flipped on the wrong device. And so you may want to check here on where your device is to make sure it's in the right perspective. The other thing is right now, video effects, right? You may want to put, want people to see you're in the kitchen, right? You could have that here. Right now, you can only do this after the meeting starts. Within a week or so, we'll have that when you're checking mics and camera phones. You'll do that before the meeting starts. And we're also going to have a whole bunch of new special effects that you'll be able to do in that section. Same thing with audio. You're going to want to make sure your audio is hooked up to the right device. Frequently, someone goes from their phone to their car, to their computer, and all of a sudden they can't hear. It's usually because of this in that perspective. Now, one other really cool feature that we have that no one else has is, let's say we started a meeting today and we've got all these people on screen. We want the energy. Everyone's saying hello, goodbye, where you're from. Now it's time for me to make a presentation. And I don't want anyone else on camera. I really want to go to webinar mode, where it's just me, any speaker that I may select, and the content. And literally all I do live during the meeting is hit start webinar mode. As soon as I activate it, everyone will disappear. Their cameras will disappear. Their cameras will be off. And I could strictly do my presentation. And everyone in the meeting will be listed here. So if I want Gary to be a speaker with me, it'll just be me and him. It could be me, 3, 5, collect those people. And then let's say that now the meeting is going on and I want to now bring everyone back to answer questions. I literally turn off webinar mode. So a really, really powerful feature if you're someone who's doing meetings all day long and you don't want to deal with the distractions in the background and you want everyone to see your content. So that's kind of the highlights of that experience. Also in the upper right-hand corner here, you notice you can control your view. And so you can go through that. This, not such a big deal, I'm saying on desktop of how you want to experience as a guest, but very important on the phone. Because on the phone, since we're the only interactive company that can be on a phone, real estate's important. You may not want to see everyone on camera when you're trying to buy a nutritional product. So you literally can put people on the bottom, people on the side, people on the top, no people at all. So when you have guests on in a mobile phone and you're asking them to enroll in a program, you may want to say, hey, just check that button in the upper right-hand corner. And you could really have a full screen experience, which no other platform allows you to do in that perspective. Okay. So I'm going to leave.
Steve.
Sure, feel free.
It came up today and it'll come up tomorrow on the one-on-one that I booked for you. How do you make, and maybe it's not ready yet, the backgrounds, like if you have different rooms and different backgrounds or different logos, different businesses you want to project in the background, is that just not ready yet?
Yes, I'm saying that's what will be the enhancements in a week or so with the new platform, that you'll be able to have a lot more options in that perspective. Because one of the things we learned with virtual backgrounds is that if we do it inside the platform, that's when you kind of get that halo effect.
Yeah.
And the light, and all of a sudden it looks like, you have a great background and you see somebody walking behind, right? And so we've figured out through the knowledge of what Google Chrome does with their meets about how to do it externally outside the platform. And so you'll see this huge upgrade in quality in people's virtual backgrounds in that perspective and special effects. It'll be a little bit like, Instagram, if you want to have, make yourself look like a lion or tiger. We're going to have a lot of options that may not be practical. We'll decide whether we turn them on and off or not. But it's a pretty cool thing is that you'll be able to do to control that
Something that can
experience.
go really wrong is I was on a group Zoom call and this guy had his virtual background, but his wife was walking around behind him and you could see her and she was totally nude.
Oh no.
Sounds like an extra value meeting.
Yeah. There's definitely a false sense of security, right, with your backgrounds, and we'll say no taken on that one. Okay, Lazaro, you have a question.
Yes, thank you. I was in a meeting this morning and I was trying to share screen, but it didn't open. Do you have to upload what you want to share beforehand?
No, not. You're talking about share a website or share
No,
or screen share.
A screen share.
Like I'm going to do it right now. Like you saw when I had that screen button on the bottom. So I just hit screen, and then automatically that I'm going to hit the Chrome tab. That's all I do is hit Chrome tab, and now I'm sharing the screen. No preparation, no ahead of time. It's all embedded. So I don't know unless you were doing it maybe from your phone. Maybe you had a challenge.
Right? Yeah, I was doing it from your phone.
Yeah, so maybe that's a little bit of a different experience on your phone. The screen sharing on phone, I don't know if that's necessarily available especially on iPhones, but that has nothing to do with our platform. That's the limitation of the device that you're on in that perspective.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Just meant back from the days in that point of view. So going back to, and again, if someone has a question because I'm sharing a screen, I can't see someone raising their hand, so feel free to interrupt me.
Hey,
but
Steve,
I do want to.
Steve, this is Gil Cargill from the West Coast.
Sure. Hey, Gil.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
I'm trying to create an avatar, and I have written a script. I copied it from Word and pasted it into the box. But as I'm trying to generate the avatar, the bar at the bottom, the blue bar at the bottom, stays gray. It won't light up. I'm clicking the box. It says I own the content. And to me, it looks like I filled in all of the spaces, but I can't. It says load save script, and I can't find right there. It says load save script, and my script is in that box.
And you did make sure you click this box. You have to click that little check mark.
Yep.
Okay. Well, let me go through the steps for everyone and then see if there's something that figures. If not, we can try to troubleshoot that, afterwards.
Okay, cool.
And also, how many characters is your script?
It was about 3,000 of 5,000, 2990, if I recall.
Okay. Because once you cross around 3,500, depending on the script, like 3,500 characters might be 5 minutes. So that's why I asked sometimes. Because of the rhythm and the pacing, of the script. So normally we say 1,000 characters is a minute, but in reality, because of pauses, inflections, that actually changes. So again, just based on experience of troubleshooting. But for everyone who, again, brand new, who's never created an avatar, let me go through the steps and then we could, again, talk about some troubleshooting perspectives, right? Okay. So there's a lot of great avatar companies out there. Companies like HeyGen and Synthesia and A-Pool and they charge, about $100 a month, and then plus you pay per minute for that. So they're expensive because they really are. They're very high-end, high quality, and they're very sophisticated. And it's not easy for the average person to use. And so what we did is we wanted to create an avatar that 95% of the people can create in a few short minutes. So we narrowed it down to the functionality that we thought was the simplest and easy to use. Even though we can do everything that those other companies to do, it just creates confusion. So there's four things that you need to do here. You need to be able to upload a photo. And if you've ever uploaded a photo before, you don't have to do it again. As you can see, it's saved. To upload a photo, you just click on the empty box. It'll open up your computer to your photos and you upload it. So number one, nice to know you're 30% there, right? If you just upload a photo, right? Second thing, which is what that Gil is talking about, is to write a script, right? This is my best version, right, of my best script. Now you can cut and paste. You could use ChatGPT. You can do whatever you want in order to create, your best script. I will recommend to you, that you should try to limit it to under a minute, because as Alex Hormozy says, that if you have 60 seconds to get someone to make a decision, at the 61-second minute mark, there's a 400% decline in someone converting. I just read that today, by the way. 400% decline in anything that happens in a minute, whatever call to action that you may want to make. So again, I know you think your 2 minutes is really great and that they really want to see that, but experience tells us package in a minute. It's almost like, think of yourself driving in a car and you're limited to a bumper. Even though you've got a billboard, the information you want to say, limited to a bumper, and work within those boundaries. Because if someone responds to a 1 minute avatar, you have an opportunity then to send them a 3 or 4 minute or invite them to a live meeting. So the idea is not to go from beginning, middle, and end with this avatar. Think of it more as opening up the door, or think of it as a great follow-up to the live presentation that you make. Okay? So number 2, it's all about the script, right? And what we do, and why people say that our avatars are on par with the best avatars in the business, is this simple button right here. It's AI Enhance. And what that AI Enhance does is it looks at the script, looks at your photo, and merges those two together. So literally your script and the AI Enhance will say, you should smile here, you should be excited here, you should be calm here. That's where the magic is. That's where the naturalism, the realism comes in. But you're the master. So you don't have to agree with what it says, and you could literally change it. Because maybe I don't want it to be excited. Maybe I want it to be confident. And literally all I do is I retype it, hit the word confident in, and now confident will be this right here. So again, realism is important. Picture is important. If you have a very busy picture in the background, right, it's not going to be effective. Simple just works better with the AI avatars. If you have other people in the background, it won't work. You'll find if you have 3 people in the background, it'll be 3 people talking at the same time. It doesn't know which person that you want to be talking. I once did a video with Santa Claus and a reindeer. And because, so the reindeer's lips were moving and people thought it was great, but they didn't realize he was moving at the exact same pace as Santa when he was talking, right? So again, these are the learning curves you all have, right? So it's picture, script, and then voice. If you're using your own voice, it's very easy, right? You hit select voice, assuming you've never done it before, so none of these are here, you hit clone. You create your own voice. And you literally type in your name, hit record voice. If you can speak for 30 seconds, it doesn't have to be any special script, any special pronunciation. Speak in the manner that you want the video to speak. Remember, it'll be permanently in your library, but you may have a voice sometimes that you want to be like from 1 to 5,000 people you're speaking, right? You're making a presentation. Maybe you want to have interview style. So again, even though you can record one voice and it'll adjust when you're making it, I would say make it easier for the AI avatar to understand what you're doing. And then once you do that voice, it'll appear right here, like what I did before. So I just click me. Now, if you're using a character that you created, maybe you want to create an executive secretary, a chief marketing officer that's speaking on your behalf because you don't want to have a lower profile. Again, you can do that with any picture. You could choose from the voices in our library, or you can actually create an MP3 file and upload your own voice from a YouTube video that you convert. So again, a lot of options depending on how complicated you want to be. And before you render it, you want to play the script. Because not only do you play the script and hear how it happens, but if you hit it 2 or 3 times, it'll also give you different versions. So sometimes you play it and you may go, God, I'm speaking too fast. There's not enough emotion in it. You can change the script a little bit. You could play it again. But the magic in is ye over here and over here until it's just right. And then what I was saying with the gentleman before, when you could decide to add URLs that'll show, but I usually like to do that after the fact, after I see the video, and then I can choose what time I want to add certain websites to play at certain times. And then literally you click there, and as you see it, Gil, mine popped up generate, right? Mm-hmm. So I can't, so again, we could do a one-on-one to figure out why it didn't pop up, but something was missing, right? Something is missing in that perspective. And then after videos are generated, I'm just going to go here, right? To my meeting, my recordings. Because you could do this in the AI Avatar Studio too, right? Like here's one I did. And the reason I was familiar with Alex, we're actually sending one. We have a relationship today with someone who knows Alex. So we created a video for Alex, right? So when I said that you have 60 seconds, I was literally quoting him, not my own opinion, right? So you can, whenever you finish, you can always watch your videos. But here's the really part that doesn't get stated enough is you hit edit, okay? When you hit edit, this is when someone is watching the video, what it'll say above the video and below the video, right? So that's not the thumbnail, right? That'll be actually when they're playing the video. This is what I meant about I can watch the video here and then decide exactly what time I want to add his website and exactly at what second. Just remember that sometimes it could take 5 or 10 seconds to render. So you want to start it a little earlier. So if I see him at the 30-second mark saying something, I'm going to probably put here at the 20-second mark where I want that to happen. So this can be edited and changed on the fly. And the other important thing is the thumbnail. You don't want to send him an ugly link because he's not going to open it. So I created a thumbnail with his own picture, thinking he's pretty narcissistic, knowing everything about Alex, right? So he's going to see a picture of himself, and then he's really more likely to open it. And notice that I can customize what's under his name. So here I decided to put his name. Here I decided to put the 60-second window. All of that editable on the fly, changing the picture. This is really all the subtleties and nuances that make something incredibly effective. Any questions on creating the avatars? Now, let me just say one other thing, right? On the avatars, you're limited to 5 minutes. We limit it to 5 minutes because it could take 3 weeks for it to render. You're doing a 40-minute perspective, right? With all that. So 5 minutes is a reasonable period of time, but there's nothing that prevents you from creating 3 avatars and then putting that together into a 15-minute perspective. So that's, again, it's more of a process and the workaround that we'll deal in the trainings in that perspective, but you really don't have limitations. You just have limits sometimes in your approach about how you want to create something. Okay? So again, if you're brand new, let me just quickly go through the dashboard. So as we started here, as I said, if you want to start an instant meeting and create that moment by yourself in the safety of your own zone, right, where you can play. And then the first time you get some courage and you want to share it with somebody else, you click share, copy the link and send it to someone. And then you can actually get someone else's opinion on whether you have a handle on this. If you then want to schedule meetings, specific days and times, as you see, I have scheduled meetings down here, you do that on the left side. And this is where you're going to know this kind of feels like Zoom, right? And by design, right, is you title the meeting, you write the description. I always default it to my personal link as opposed to some generated arbitrary link at the same time. You pick your day, you pick your time, you pick the duration, not that you're limited during the meeting, but it'll take up that much time in their calendar invite so they know what have an expectation is. If you're highly security conscious, you can have a waiting room where people will knock on the door to come in. Doesn't seem like that's an issue the way it used to be. And then you go to the next step. And then you decide how you want the meeting to begin. Do you want, like today, if you notice, everyone just came on camera. I wasn't sharing the website. I started off standard, but I wasn't limited in creating anything I wanted from that point of view. If I want to create an interactive meeting with shared ambassador links, knowing we're going to be selling Pxch, Herbalife, Nu Skin, whatever that may be, and I'll do that as a separate training where we'll go through how to set up those ambassador links. Or maybe you just want to start it off in webinar mode. You make all of those selections right here. So if I click standard meeting, I then also decide with every option, do I want to broadcast this live simultaneously on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram or use a third-party platform like Restream or StreamYard? I decide that. And then I just do a final check. And notice on the left-hand side, you've kind of checklist, knowing that you've done everything great. And then literally you just create the meeting. So again, a user experience, which is terrific. Now remember, we're also, as we going to go through a CRM training, you'll have another option, right, to create meetings through the CRM in that perspective as well. But for those of you that may not be interested in using our CRM, right, I want you to know, again, we're all about the options and the flexibility to do those things. So once again, as you go through this, a lot of you, right, will be on meetings and somebody is going to say to you, by the way, what software is this? Even if you're not promoting our business full time. And just so you know that every time you do share your referral link, we pay you. We pay you the cash rewards to do that. So you literally click on your rewards and you'll see whether you referred people or anyone that you referred other people, and you get that. And so think of this as an e-wallet that at any single time that you can access. And then when you want to get paid through the e-wallet, you're going to want to click on the next tab where you fill out your ACH information. So you actually get paid. You get paid depending on your bank within 24 to 48 hours. You can pull out the money at your convenience, right?
Steve, I have a
Also,
question on the meetings.
sure.
I didn't see where you add the invite to the person. We still don't have that capability. We still have to email that separately, or?
Yeah, and when you schedule it through that way, that's where we're adding the CRM.
I see. Okay, so when you schedule it that way, you have to email the link to somebody separately.
Absolutely. Yep.
The way you have yours set up now, when I schedule on your calendar, you automatically send the information.
Because I'm using Calendly.
Oh, it's only with Calendly that happens?
Well, I'm saying until the CRM comes out, I'm using Calendly, right? So that's why I use Calendly, so people can choose to have meetings with me. I couldn't manage that through our dashboard and schedule the meeting, right? That's a CRM. That's why Calendly acts like a CRM.
Calendly auto sending that out. I get the message. Now I get it. Okay. Thank you for
Correct.
that.
And to clear that up, and just to clear that up for everyone, right? So the way that I use Calendly now, right? And remember, there's 20 million people who use Calendly, right? And the last thing I want to do is tell everyone you can't use Calendly anymore, right? And there's 2 million people who actually are paid Calendly members. So it's a substantial group. And so the easiest way to continue to use Calendly is this link right here is a permanent link 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You don't have to schedule that. You don't have to give special passcodes. That works. So what I do is I use that link. I put that in my Calendly, right? Because Calendly gives you a choice to use Zoom, Google Meets, Microsoft Teams, or you click custom, and we're in the custom category, right? That's when you put in our link, and now Calendly does all the scheduling, right? Using our link, right? So there's no integration required. There's no setup required, but that's a very simple way to, without waiting for some new technology release, to instantly use Calendly. And obviously it works because you guys are using it to set up appointments with me.
Okay. I have a question then to that. So the link that you just shared is not your personal link. That was a different link. Yeah,
it's an instant link. Correct.
Okay.
And it works the same. So remember, the functionality of the person clicking on a link, that's all they care about. Click on a link and join the meeting, right? So from that point of view, right, it's personal to you in that sense, but it's not a fancy personalized URL like /Denise, in that sense. Okay?
Got it.
But that link will work every time.
Okay.
So Steve, by CRM, I'm sorry. Can I ask you a question?
No, feel free, sure.
So I have obviously a calendar link where people can go in and schedule appointments, and that's what I'll be able to use my pitch in that when the CRM is finished.
Correct. Exactly.
Awesome. Okay.
That's why I always said to people, right? The CRM is the last piece of the puzzle, right? Yeah. It ties all the other components together. And now that because remember when we started, right, we were just an interactive webinar platform,
right?
Live, right? Touch the screen. Wasn't a big use case for CRM, in that perspective, right? But now that we're emails, text, social media, so for us, we really wanted to make sure all the components were in alignment, right? Understanding what we have, get that stability, understand all of our flows. So now the CRM will make sense. And that's why I want to start the training on the CRMs even before we introduce it, because I don't want people to feel overwhelmed and all of a sudden log into their back office and go, where do I start?
Right.
In this perspective, because it is comprehensive. That's why if you look at companies like Salesforce.com, right, people have to go through 3 months of training, right, by their corporate to figure out how to use that. HubSpot, not as complicated, but very complicated. Microsoft Teams, the same thing. So when people sign up as individuals, it's much more of a challenge than when you're in a corporate environment and they're doing the trainings for you in those CRMs. And so for us, we're laying out 3 CRMs. One, which we believe is the free one and the simple one that everyone can use to really service the webinar platform. And you can upload up to 5,000 names into that CRM. You could then hook up your own Twilio account or initiate a Twilio account with us. And then every time you send a text using our CRM, if you send an SMS, a text, or an email, you'll be charged whatever Twilio's rates are. There's no profit center in it for us. The reason you're going to want to use that is because it tracks it, right? You'll know who opens it, how long they watch those perspectives. But again, you could use our CRM and still send out, those things on your own. If people says, I don't want to start paying for that, great. What we always try to encourage people is maintain the status quo of what you're currently using and then give you options to do something else, through our platform. And then the paid CRM, I think there's one at $15 a month and one at $29 a month, right? Those are going to be more competitive with Salesforce and HubSpot, where more, which again, you may not need, but they'll be fairly sophisticated in terms of the information and tools they give you to use. And what we're doing is anyone who signs up on a business plan, right? Which remember the first month on a business plan is $169 and $199, and then it's $69 and $99 a month. We're giving the paid, the $15 a month one for free for 3 months. So someone can see if it's for them and get comfortable. Or they may go, this is overkill, I don't need it. And then you'll default back to the free CRM or continue to use the CRM that you use. So does that make sense? Okay.
Yes, completely. And I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Good. I don't always make sense. That's why I asked. I just want you to know, I don't always assume. Okay.
No, I'm glad. I'm glad you check. It's good. I get it completely. And I look forward to seeing it.
Okay. And just kind
Steve?
of, yeah.
What's
Sure, go ahead.
Twilio? Can you spell that, Twilio, so I can look it up?
It's TWILLO, I believe, or IO.
Twilio?
It's the largest Twilio. Uh-huh.
Okay, and what is it again?
It's an SMS and email campaign platform.
Oh,
so
okay.
when you're sending out texts and emails, like for instance, the reason companies use that, right? It also prevents spam.
Yeah.
In that perspective, right? You always end up, I sent you an email and it's in the junk folder, right? Spam, companies like Twilio, right, give you a much better landing rate because all their domains are registered and secure and verified from that perspective. So that's why most professional companies will use a company like Twilio or use a competitor to Twilio. And it also, again, has a lot of sending options on its own outside of our CRM in order to do that. One of the more popular tools, that every single company may or may not use. Okay. Any other questions before I go on?
I have one more question. Sorry.
Sure.
Just one more question. Okay. I'm going to be coming every day at 1 because I want to learn more. So I don't want to throw them all out at you now. So when I schedule a meeting on Pxch, I did not see a notes where I could take, how like AI will take notes for the meeting?
Yes, right now when you hit record in our meetings,
yes,
right, it automatically will create a transcript and an AI summary.
Fabulous.
But we don't have it for the guest to go do that, but for the host. And then you could decide whether you want to send that out. You also have the ability to download it and edit it, because I tend to say things I don't necessarily want repeated. So I do want to edit that summary, speaking from personal experience. So we'll have that. But it is,
all right,
it
so
is
it's the
automatic.
record button. Okay, thank you.
Dave, I have a
No, you got
question.
it. Sure.
How many meetings can you hold? I'm new on each plan. Is there a limit?
You can do an unlimited number of meetings with each plan. Yep. There's only a length per meeting. So on the smaller plan, I think it's 90 minutes, or something like that. I don't, but it's not the 40 minutes and get kicked out and have that humiliating moment, right? So, so I think it starts at 90 minutes and it goes up to 5 hours.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks.
No, you're welcome. Any other questions or thoughts? You guys are good today. Like, you can tell when you're doing a training and people are actually like into it, and paying attention, you get that energy back, right?
Yeah, so, Steve, I have a question because I'm still, the links have really confused me. And I set up a meeting today, want to do a demo. I sent my link and it didn't work. And so I don't know why. Why?
I don't either. You know, Denise, you and I have that in common. We both are clueless of why your link did not work. But I'm saying what we could do is we can set up a one-on-one, set up a VIP training, and that way you can take me through it so I can see what you're doing wrong.
That's what I'll
But
do.
like,
Yeah. You're going to
Yeah.
talk to her more anyway. I just set up a meeting with you. I'm like, I don't want to blow it. And she's so
Yeah.
excited about it that I just didn't want to.
Yeah, and I just want to frame it that those are the kind of questions I love. Feel free to bring them up. I don't want to feel anyone to censor themselves, right? There's just a difference of what I can answer that I think is systematic, that's happening to everyone, right? Or a particular issue as opposed to troubleshooting, right? This call I can't, there's no way that I could troubleshoot it. And that's where the one-on-ones and customer support are, right? So if somebody says, like the gentleman today, right, it's a great question. My avatar link won't generate, right? So I take that advantage to show the entire process so everyone can see it. Maybe it clicks in, maybe it doesn't. And now we'll see if he'll go in and try it again. If it doesn't work, we'll create a one-on-one training session. So again, like I say, I don't want you to feel, don't ask that question, but I just want you to know sometimes I can address it and fix it on the fly. And then sometimes it needs to be in a different venue, right? Any other questions or thoughts before I kind of finish out just a quick overview? Okay. All right, let me go back to here for a sec. And so what I was just saying, so dashboard's kind of clear, right? In that perspective, rewards are clear, payments, my account. The only thing in the my account section, when you click on my profile, just realize this is where all your information is, which is editable. Sometimes people want to come in and change the information associated with their account. So you can do that here. Also, this is a quick place to see where your referral link. And also, if you want to change your meeting link, like my meeting link for this particular site is meet.mypitch.com/my Steve. It could be, my Nicholas. It could be, my friend. You have the ability to customize that. Also, you have the ability to put in your streaming links here. So you never have to set that up again. So this could be Facebook Live, YouTube, it could be Restream, StreamYard. You're not limited to the name because you notice when you click on it, it's always going to pop up the same two fields. It's going to pay the two links that you need in order to activate that. So you can, if you didn't set that up ahead of time, you can set it up when you schedule a meeting. But again, it's just a case of convenience and ease in that perspective, right? Then the other thing here is, because now we have multiple plans, we have individual plans, we have business plans, and then we have enterprise plans. And so if there's any one you want to change, you can change your own subscription at any time. You can also change your payment methods. Many times, credit cards are declining, people get renewals. I don't want you to feel like, oh my God, I'm waiting for customer service in order to make that change for me. You could do that on yourself. Remember, we do use credits for the AI avatars and for international voice translations. And this is where you can purchase additional credit. It's pretty simple math, 1 cent, 1 credit. So you don't need the calculator out to do that. Like I say, it's about 5 cents a minute for international voice translations, $1.92 a minute. I don't know why it's not $1.91, so don't blame ask me that question, but per minute, on the AI avatars, okay? Here on the communication center, this is where you can instantly join any of the trainings that are going on, whether they be this afternoon, Tuesday night, or Saturday. But also, this is where our 1-minute videos are. You really may want to take a second because it's only a minute a piece to review them. And this really connects the dots for sometimes to your prospects. Like here, I have one that I speak 3 languages in under a minute and someone can book an appointment. I got to tell you, that actually works pretty well. We've got one for human resources, one for car dealerships, one for homeowners, one for DocuSign contracts, one for telehealth. So it's pretty broad. And if anyone has one they want me to make that they think is universal, that would be helpful. I'll make them for you and we'll add them to the library. Or if you've made a great one that you want to share, we can make that part of a shared library to do that. But I can tell you that whenever I'm making a presentation to somebody, even in the presentation, when I say to somebody, by the way, it's only a minute, I hear the sigh. Oh, good. You know what I mean? It's only a minute and they get the entire experience, right? And then, of course, in a very short nature, this is going to be where you access your CRM. And this is where we're going to do the trainings from tomorrow. Also, a lot of you don't realize that you have the ability to get meeting reports. And you can see everyone who's attended your meeting, how long they stayed on, especially if you're invited by other people. You can then edit those and send reports to other people to say, these are your 10 guests that showed up. You may want to follow up with them. My media is where my recordings are, which again, I went through that earlier. And of course, AI tools is where the studio is. So as we like to say, that is my show. So if we don't have any other questions or thoughts, again, I invite you to come back tomorrow. I invite you to, again, take advantage of my VIP calendar. Right now, they're still scheduled one-on-one. As we grow, there'll be one-to-many. So you'll have more options as the calendar fills up to do that. Otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow. Okay. All right, everybody. Have a great one. Thank you so much. Okay. Bye.
Thank you.
Gracias.